Good day and welcome po once again sa our last part of our educational video production short course. So, nandito na po tayo sa evaluation stage ng post-production. Now, before we will look at the different tools that you'll be using for your quality assurance and to ensure that all of the objectives of your videos are met. So, titingnan po muna natin kung paano po ba natin titingnan ang isang educational video talaga. So, later on, I'm going to present to you my sample of the tool that you may use, and even you may modify it later on according to the needs of our educational videos. So let's take a look at how to critique a video. Kasama po talaga siya, hindi siya mawawala. Kasi nandito po yung pagtingin kung ano yung mga elemento ng video. Tinitingnan natin yan if or do they jive together, no? So let's take a look. So compare muna natin. Ano kasi you may see reviews, no, yung mga 5 stars or 2 thumbs up sa isang pelikula o isang TV series. So basically, a review gives you clues on whether or not a video that you want to look at actually we are seeing. Predictive po ito, no? Gusto mo bang panoorin, no? 'Di ba? Minsan may spoiler sa review, but most of the time iniiwan naman 'yan ng review writers natin, ano? At ang kailangan nating tingnan dito is sino ba talaga ang audience ng isang review. At ang review ay para po siya sa general public. Now compare that with a critique. Now a critique, tinitingnan natin kung saang parts ng video talaga siya nagwo-work o nag-failed. And you can see that in some reviews na hinalo na ng reviews kung paano ba talaga kinikritik ang isang video. But the audience for a critique is usually the video producers. So maganda po siyang tool. It's a good indicator on how your video actually works as a final result. So here are a few things to consider in the critique. Critique can take many forms, pero in our particular case, this is just a guide on the different parts of a video that you would look at in the evaluation. So take note, pwedeng basis ito if you decide to change your instrument later on. So here are the few things we need to consider in a critique. The first one is the premise. So yung kwento ba, does it make sense? Or kailangan medyo believable, no? Believable. Lalo na kung ito ay educational video. Kasi po yung hindi siya believable, mawawala yung credibility natin bilang teachers on screen. And remember that as teachers, as one of the authorities, especially in the academe, we need to be credible, we need to be believable on what we say. So the next thing to consider is characterization. Do the characters in your story behave realistically? Alam ko po na sinasabi namin na conversational and teacher in the video. At hindi po conversational usually ang approach natin sa isang classroom. So depende doon sa size ng classroom. Depende kung sino yung mga estudyante. Pero ito, do you still behave like a teacher? Tama ba yung mga kilos natin? O medyo siga ba? 'Di ba? O masyadong pa-cute sa camera, 'di ba? Hindi naman po natin nakikita usually yon sa loob ng classroom. Okay, so the behavior that your characters in the story should be a reflective of the culture. Ang dapat makikita ng estudyante ay something na they would usually see in everyday life, especially in everyday school life. So next, tingnan natin yung message, okay? So the message is actually the lesson in our case. So it should be clear and well presented. Medyo mahirap sa video yung palagoy-lagoy tayo, no? Kasi hindi natin nagagamit yung immediacy ng medium. Maganda sa video na nakikita natin agad almost instantaneously, kumbaga. So sayang naman kung hindi natin gagamitin 'yon. And our video should also not evoke stereotypes, no, mga prejudices or misconceptions. So kailangan malinaw tayo dito sa content natin at hindi tayo naghahatid ng inequality or non-inclusiveness. Next, aside from that, we must be appropriate for the audience. Pagdating doon sa message, sakto lang doon sa ating particular audience. Ang audience natin ay divided into grades. Madali para sa atin sa educational videos na titingnan natin kung yung content ay appropriate for the age, for the grade level. Madali yon. Pero what about yung mismong complexity ng presentation? Sometimes, in a textbook, medyo complex siyang tingnan para sa bata, but since it's in a book, kayang i-explain ng teacher. Ngayon, yung video natin will stand for that. Siya yung tatayo na parang teacher natin ngayon. Next is number 4, treatment or the plot. Now, treatment really is tinitingnan natin kung ano yung template ng ating mga palabas. So, a treatment could be a music video. It could be a narrative video like what we are going to do. No, we don't do music videos for educational videos because it's more on instructions. It could be a documentary, pero in our case, pag ginamit natin yung treatment or plot, it means na or it refers to our story itself. No? Sa loob ng ating video, and it should be predictable but not overly so. Alam naman ng bata o estudyante ang structure ng lesson, yung flow. And after a while, when we follow the particular chunking, no, yung chunking na sinasabi ni Teacher Joanne, magiging predictable talaga yung magiging lessons natin. Pero hindi naman to the point na, okay, alam ko na ang susunod na part, ganon, no, ganyan. Let's twist it up a bit. You can deviate a little, as long as the structuring is the same on the flow of the story. You can change a bit of the style, like instead of an activity, you can add a video, or like you say, roll VTR, just like in some known TV shows. So, relative to plots, resolutions to problems should be realistic. So again, we're talking about realism here. And kailangan believable yung resolutions natin dun sa plots natin. Traditionally, we follow the plot that starts from the introduction going to the conflict. No? You remember the plot diagram starting from introduction, going to climax, and then down to denouement. It's a bit more conventional, so you may follow that. No? But whatever type of resolution you choose, hoping it's realistic. Kapani-paniwala ang ending, no? Hindi yung fantasy ending siya kasi masisira yung idea na ito pala ay lesson. So, we are now halfway through. Next is number 5, writing. Story, dialogue. Ito ay ayon doon sa language, grammar, type of words, at kung angkop ba siya doon sa ating audience. So, appropriateness to the video, right? Now, our writing, no, the words that we write should be able to educate and entertain. Sabay po yun, no? It's just not to educate, but to entertain as well. No? Importante po siyang sabay. No? They have to, it's not that it is mixed by mixed, no? But it should be together. No? They should go together. No? It should do the tango together. So, hindi po pwede na, okay, lesson lang talaga yung delivery natin. Kailangan may medyong entertainment. No? I think that was clear in the script writing part. But, of course, we are also looking for that in the critique. So, number 6 is visual presentation. We know for a fact that teachers are always the best visual aid for our students. But how about now when we do it in the new normal? Now, visual presentation includes camera work, the sets and props, the costumes. Yes, you can use costumes. So, titingnan natin kung bagay ba siya at kung nakaka-engage, right? They should catch attention, but they should also be appropriate. And if we have presentations like graphics or texts, now this still involving the visual presentation, they should make things clear. Huwag nating palabuin yung topic kung mahirap na siyang intindihin. Kaya tayo may power na mag-introduce ng graphics at saka ng effects para mas madali yung ating learning process. And that's visual presentation. So, number 7. Number 7 is sound and music. Hindi po yung The Hills Are Alive, ha? Pero pwede na rin. Importante yung marunong tayong kumanta, right? So, that's very crucial po sa mga talent or broadcasters natin kasi sila yung nagdi-deliver. Pero importante yung sound at music sa ating video. It should fit, it should add value, it should enhance the presentation, and they should be appropriate and support the visuals. So again, example ko before, baka naman yung scene nyo medyo suspense, horror ng kaunti, no? Huwag naman natin yung gawin natin sa mga bata, you know? Pero yung kaunting kunwari lang na horror ang intro, tapos may supporting music, baka naman kasi happy birthday or something, no? So let's make sure that the sound and music is appropriate, and remember when it is giving background also to the or we call it in radio broadcasting music bed, no? It should be soft, no? Hindi yung nakakairita sa tenga, no? And it must not overpower to the broadcaster or to the talent to the point that hindi na siya maririnig. So that's sound and music. So next, of course, number 8 is editing. Dito na papasok si Mr. or Miss Video Editor, no? Editing is very important. The transitions that we use should be simple. Wala dapat yung mga stars o kung ano-ano. Unless they're necessary to signal a change in the type of chunks that we have. So if we go now to the downtime, so there we can add a fancy transition there. But normally in a video production, we use cuts. So straight one cut to another or fades. Well, we use crossfades kapag meron tayong passage of time. So from 5 minutes later, for example, meron siyang crossfade na nangyayari. Kapag cut kasi, ang understanding natin is it's the same scene relatively the same time. Okay? So now let's make sure that when we edit, tingnan natin yung cut points. Huwag yung may sobra, di ba? So napuputol yung text. Hindi po maganda yon at makikita ng mga estudyante natin yon. And then let's make sure na there are no dead scenes. Wala yung mga talking heads, no? Na maganda naman yung may nangyayari in the environment, okay? At saka habang nag-i-explain tayo, baka kung gusto ninyo, pasok na lang kayo ng ibang scene habang random yung voice over. So for an explanation, no, magpapasok kayo ng scene showing kung ano po yung dinidiscuss. That's called as cut away. So that's very important. Don't forget talking heads, no? Bawasan natin if we cannot avoid, but let's just minimize using them. Kung kinakailangan na may visual siya, cut away, or kung gusto niyo talagang nandun yung teacher, pino-point out niya sa screen. Okay? So that's it. Those are the 8 things we need to consider when we do the critique. Let's just follow them together with the premise, characterization, message, you have the treatment or plot, writing, visual presentation, sound and music, and lastly we have the editing. So if you can add more to the points to consider, then you can have, right? Okay, so I have here a sample, a tool for critiquing a video lesson of which magagamit nyo or you may modify. But here, since I have discussed 8 elements, so you can use this one as your guide or your tool for you to critique your video lesson. We'll have the premise, is it, or the things to consider, is it believable, convincing, and capable of persuading? So what went well and what went wrong in the premise? For characterization, is it realistic, reflective of the culture? Then the message, does it convey clear, or is it well presented, does not evoke stereotypes or prejudices or misconceptions? You can also have the treatment or the plot. Is it appropriate, or the template used is appropriate? Does it follow particular chunking? Does it or is it easy to follow? Clear transitions? Yung mga transitions ba? Clear ba niya? Clear ba siya? No? So for writing, is it appropriate language? Right ba yung grammar and or choice of words? No? Informative and entertaining. No, remember that. And then for visual presentation, is it engaging, or the set is engaging in props? Do we have problems in the camera work? And does it use proper attire? Clear ba yung graphics niya, yung effects, as well as the animations? Yung to the point na nakakaanoy na. So you have to remember that also for visual presentation. And then the sound and music. Does it fit to the scene? Will it able to support the visuals? And lastly, the editing. Simple yet engaging transitions, proper cut points, no dead scenes, no excessive use of talking heads. So you can have this as a tool for critiquing a video lesson. Okay, so we are done. And at the end point of any evaluation together with the critique is to really improve the process of video production and to improve your product as well. So we will not only look on what are its effects to our students, where do they learn, but also we will look it into ourselves as well, di ba? Ang video critique ay para sa producers. So we are going to look at how we did the production and what we can do the next time when we produce something similar. Okay, so this is Rani Villamin of Misamis Occidental National High School. I hope you have learned many things and apply this in your own as you are going to produce your video lessons. Make it engaging, make it worthwhile, especially for our learners. Maraming salamat po. Goodbye.